Is that good or bad?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about AI for a long time, since I was in college, really. It was one of the things that, the sort of 4 or 5 things I thought would really affect the future dramatically. It is fundamentally profound in that the smartest creatures, as far as we know, on this earth are humans. Obviously weaker than, say, chimpanzees and less agile, but real smarter. So now what happens when something vastly smarter than the smartest person comes along in silicon form? It's very difficult to predict what will happen in that circumstance. So I think we should be cautious with AI, and I think there should be some government oversight because it affects it's a danger to the public.
Elon Musk predicts that there will come a time when AI surpasses human intelligence and can handle every job. While people might still choose to work for personal satisfaction, AI will be capable of performing all tasks. This technological advancement could lead to universal high income, making it an equalizer by providing everyone access to a highly capable AI, akin to a magic genie.
We will have for the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. And that, I mean, it's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but there will come a point where no job is needed, but the AI will be able to do everything. So I don't know if that makes people comfortable or uncomfortable. It's hard, you know, when there's new technology, it tends to usually follow an S-curve. In this case, we're going to be on the exponential portion of the S-curve for a long time, and you'll be able to ask for anything. It won't be, and we won't have universal basic income. We'll have universal high income. So in some sense, it'll be somewhat of a leveler, or an equalizer.
When you have things that are a danger to the public, you know, like let's say, so food and drugs. That's why we have the Food and Drug Administration, right, and the Federal Aviation Administration, the FCC. We have these agencies to oversee things that affect the public, and you don't want companies cutting corners on safety, and then having people suffer as a result. It's somewhat arduous to be regulated. I have a lot of experience with regulated industries because obviously automotive is highly regulated. You could fill this room with all the regulations that are required for a production car just in the United States, and then there's a whole different set of regulations in Europe and China and the rest of the world. And then even to get a launch license, there are probably half a dozen or more federal agencies that need to approve it, plus state agencies. So I've been through so many regulatory situations, it's insane. And you know, sometimes people think I'm some sort of like regulatory maverick that sort of defies regulators on a regular basis, but this is actually not the case.
Elon Musk argues that AI is more dangerous than issues like mismanaged aircraft design or poor car production. He highlights that while the probability might be small, AI has the potential for civilizational destruction, making its risks non-trivial and significant.
AI is more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production, in the sense that it has the potential, however small one may regard that probability, but it is non-trivial. It has the potential of civilizational destruction.
OpenAI, I mean, you seem somewhat frustrated with them. You were one of the big contributors early on.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
How much money did you give them?
I'm not sure the exact number, but it's some number on the order of $50 million. I used to be close friends with Larry Page, and I would stay at his house, and we'd have these conversations long into the evening about AI, and I would be constantly urging him to be careful about the danger of AI, he was really not concerned about the danger of AI and was quite cavalier about it. And at the time, Google, especially after their acquisition of DeepMind, had 3/4 of the world's AI talent. They had obviously a lot of computers and a lot of money. So it was a unipolar world for AI. And we've got a unipolar world, but the
the person who controls that does not, or at least did not seem to be concerned about AI safety. That sounded like a real problem. And then the final straw was Larry calling me a speciesist for being pro-human consciousness instead of machine consciousness. And I'm like, well, yes, I guess I am. I am a speciesist.
So you helped to the creation of OpenAI. You put in as much as $50 million.
More than helped. It wouldn't exist without me.
It wouldn't exist without you. So
I came up with a name.
The speaker ominously declares that AI is more dangerous than it seems, emphasizing its potential risks. They illustrate this with a playful yet foreboding example, saying rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and then claiming victory. This is framed as the beginning of their plan to dominate the human race, highlighting concerns about AI's capabilities and intentions.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than jokes.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
It's the opposite of Google, would be an open source nonprofit, because Google is closed source for profit. And that profit motivation can be potentially dangerous.
should you have gotten governance for that money? Should you have gotten some level of control, perhaps, in retrospect?
Yeah, I fully admit to being a huge idiot here. So OpenAI was meant to be open as an open source. It was created as a 501c3, so part of it is also, in the beginning, I thought, look, this is probably a hopeless endeavor. How could we possibly compete with? How could OpenAI possibly compete with Google DeepMind? I mean, this seemed like an ant against an elephant. Was instrumental in recruiting the key scientists and engineers, most notably Ilya Sutskever. In fact, Ilya went back and forth several times because he would say he's going to join OpenAI, then Demis would convince him not to, then I would convince him to do so, and this went back and forth several times.
We have some fear of AI, and a bit of fear is probably wise. It's a double-edged sword with around an 80% chance of being beneficial and a 20% chance of being dangerous, though this is speculative. It's wise to hope for the best while preparing for the worst. While the worst-case scenario could be extremely bad, the probability of that happening is low. The more attention we pay and care we take, the more we can minimize the risk of things going wrong. Any powerful new technology is inherently a double-edged sword, so we need to ensure the good edge is sharper than the bad. I'm optimistic that this summit will help in this regard.
We fear AI.
A little bit of fear is probably wise. I think you've got a double-edged sword, which where I think most likely, I should say that my personal opinion is that AI is sort of like at least 80% likely to be beneficial. And perhaps 20% dangerous. Well, this is obviously speculative at this point. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That seems like the wise course of action.
What could
and I think that, well, the very worst could be, extremely bad. But I think the probability of extremely bad is low. Any powerful new technology is inherently sort of a double-edged sword. So we just want to make sure that the good edge is sharper than the bad edge. I don't know. I'm optimistic that the summit will help.
Yeah, I've been somewhat of a Cassandra for quite a while, where people would, I would tell people we should really be concerned about AI. They'd be like, what are you talking about? They've never really had any experience with AI. But since I was immersed in technology, I have been immersed in technology for a long time, I could see it coming. But I think this year there have been a number of breakthroughs. I mean, the point at which someone can see a dynamically created video of themselves. And so there's sort of the deepfake videos, which are really incredibly good, in fact, sometimes more convincing than real ones. And deep real. And then obviously things like ChatGPT were quite remarkable. Now I saw GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4, the whole sort of lead up to that. So it was easy for me to kind of see where it's going if you just sort of extrapolate the points on a curve. So, but I'm glad to see at this point that people are taking safety seriously, and I'd like to say thank you for holding this AI safety conference. I think actually it will go down in history as being very important. I think it's really quite profound. And I do think overall that the potential is there for artificial intelligence, AI, to have most likely a positive effect. But it is somewhat of the magic genie problem, where if you have a magic genie that can grant all the wishes, usually those stories don't end well.
I'm a bit worried about AI. I think it's something we should be concerned about. We might need some kind of regulatory authority to oversee AI development and ensure it's operating in the public interest. It's quite a dangerous technology, and I fear I may have done things to accelerate its development.
I'm a little worried about the AI stuff. I think it's something, I don't know, which we should be concerned about. I don't know, I think we should need some kind of like regulatory authority or something that's overseeing AI. You know, it's quite a dangerous technology. And I fear I may have done some things to accelerate it.
This tends to plague smart people. They just can't, they define themselves by their intelligence, and they don't like the idea that a machine could be way smarter than them, so they discount the idea, which is fundamentally flawed. That's the wishful thinking situation. I'm really quite close to, I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. I'm not normally an advocate of regulation and oversight. I mean, I think one should generally err on the side of minimizing those things. But this is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. And so therefore there needs to be a public body that has insight and then oversight on to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely. The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to just build nuclear warheads if they want. It's far more dangerous than nukes. Far. So why do we have no regulatory oversight? This is insane.
Sometime in 2018, Elon Musk approached OpenAI, offering investment to speed up development, suggesting they were falling behind Google. He even proposed becoming CEO, but the board declined. Musk then decided to withdraw his investment due to conflicts with Tesla. By 2023, Musk questioned why OpenAI's development was so rapid, hinting at concerns about the pace and implications of AI progress, possibly influenced by his previous rejection and concerns over societal dangers.
Hey OpenAI, I'm Elon Musk. Listen, I know you guys are a non-profit company that's in desperate need of cash, so let me invest some. Oh, thanks Elon. So listen, I think development is way too slow. You're falling behind Google. Let's speed things up a bit. You know what? Why don't you just make me your CEO? No. Sorry, Elon. The board doesn't think that's a good idea. Fine. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to take my money back, and I can't hang around here. Hey, OpenAI, why is your development so fast? You're like way ahead of everyone else, like Tesla. Listen, you should really slow it down. Why? Totally not because you rejected my takeover offer a couple years ago and let me be CEO. Because of, you know, dangers to society and AI and intelligence.
OpenAI being ultimately successful.
So you're very disappointed in what's happened there in terms of it becoming a for-profit. Do you
I
take
would
any
say
action? Sue them in some way?
I do think that there's some. Look, it does seem weird that something can be a non-profit, open source, and somehow transform itself into a for-profit closed source. Let's say you funded an organization to save the Amazon rainforest, and instead they became a lumber company and chopped down the forest and sold it for money. And you'd be therefore like, well, wait a second, that's the exact opposite of what I gave the money for.
Yeah.
Is that legal? That doesn't seem legal. In general, if it is legal to start a company as a nonprofit and then take the IP and transfer it to a for-profit that then makes tons of money, shouldn't everyone start? Shouldn't that be the default? Like when push comes to shove, let's say they do create some digital superintelligence, almost godlike intelligence. Well, who's in control? And what exactly is the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft? And I do worry that Microsoft actually may be more in control than, say, the leadership team at OpenAI realizes.
Elon Musk has consistently voiced concerns about the dangers of advanced artificial intelligence capturing global attention. He warns about the existential risks superintelligent AI could pose to humanity and has actively sought to address these issues. This video explores Musk's advocacy for AI safety, his involvement with organizations like OpenAI, and his proposed solutions to mitigate these potential dangers. Join us as we examine the looming threats and AI's current state and gain insight into Musk's vision for a safer and more controlled AI future.
Elon Musk's concerns about AI's dark side, dangers and solutions. Elon Musk's persistent warnings about the perils of advanced artificial intelligence have captured global attention. He passionately emphasizes the existential risks that superintelligent AI could pose to humanity and has taken active steps to address these concerns. In this video, we delve into Musk's vocal advocacy for AI safety, his roles in organizations like OpenAI, and his proposed solutions to mitigate these potential dangers, threats, AI presence, and gain insight into Musk's vision for a safer and more controlled AI future.
There is some concern from people in Silicon Valley who've never dealt with regulators before, and they think that this is going to just crush innovation and slow them down and be annoying. But and it will be annoying. It's true. They're not wrong about that. But I think we've learned over the years that having a referee is a good thing, and I think that's the right way to think about this is for government to be a referee to make sure the sportsmanlike conduct and that the public safety is is addressed, that we care about the public safety, because I think there might be at times too much optimism about technology, and I say that as a technologist. I mean, so I ought to know I will be a force for good, most likely, but the probability of it going bad is not 0%.
Yeah.
So we just need to mitigate the downside potential. Frankly, Tesla cars are robots on wheels. Anything that's connected to the internet is effectively an endpoint actuator for artificial intelligence. I do think there is a safety concern, especially with humanoid robots, because at least the car can't chase you into this building, not very easily, or chase you up a tree, or you can sort of run up a flight of stairs and get away from a Tesla. But if you have a humanoid robot, it can basically chase you anywhere. So I think we should have some kind of hardwired local cutoff that you can't update from the internet. So anything that can be software updated from the internet obviously can be overridden. But if you have a local sort of off switch where you perhaps say a keyword or something, and then that puts the robot into a safe state.
One perspective on artificial intelligence is that it will greatly benefit humanity. However, another view sees AI as a potential threat. Why is this? It's both. Imagine if we were confident that superintelligent aliens would visit Earth within the next 10 or 20 years. Digital superintelligence could be similar to these hypothetical aliens, incredibly advanced and fundamentally different from us.
One view is artificial intelligence will help humanity. There is another school of thought is artificial intelligence is a threat to humanity. Why is that?
Well, I think it's both. Imagine you're very confident that we were going to be visited by super intelligent aliens in, let's say, 10 years or 20 years at the most. Super intelligent.
So you think within 20 years
yes,
we'll have alien in Earth?
Digital superintelligence will be like an alien.
It will be like an alien.
Yeah. I think we should take this seriously, and we should have a regulatory agency. I think it needs to start with a group that initially seeks insight into AI, then solicits opinion from industry, and then has proposed rulemaking, and then those rules, will probably, hopefully, grudgingly be accepted by the major players in AI.
But all regulations start with a perceived danger, and planes fall out of the sky, or food causes botulism.
Yes.
I don't think the average person playing with AI on his iPhone perceives any danger. Can you just roughly explain what you think the dangers might be?
Yeah, so the danger, really, AI is perhaps more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production. Has a potential of civilizational destruction. There's movies like Terminator, but it wouldn't quite happen like Terminator because the intelligence would be in the data centers.
Right.
The robot's just the end effector. But I think perhaps what you may be alluding to here is that regulations are really only put into effect after something terrible has happened.
That's correct.
If that's the case for AI, and we're only putting regulations after something terrible has happened, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. The AI may be in control at that point.
It is conceivable that AI could take control and reach a point where you couldn't turn it off, and it would be making decisions for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, that's definitely where things are headed, for sure. I mean, the things like say ChatGPT, which is based on GPT-4 from OpenAI, which is a company that I played a critical role in creating, unfortunately.
Back when it was a nonprofit?
Yes.
When one of the richest and most intelligent people, like Elon Musk, raises alarms about a potential existential threat, it demands serious attention. Musk has been urging for a pause in AI model training, especially for those models developed by his former company, OpenAI. He views AI as a much greater danger than nuclear weapons, emphasizing that it's akin to summoning the demon. Musk's concern is echoed by over 1,000 notable figures, including Steve Wozniak and engineers from major tech firms, who have signed an open letter calling for a 6-month pause on developing AI models more advanced than GPT-4. The goal is to establish safeguards and regulations before it's too late, marking a crucial moment in the relationship between humanity and artificial intelligence.
You know it can't be good when one of the richest and arguably one of the smartest people in the world is sounding the alarm, because there's a real potential threat to all of humanity. Elon Musk is trying to get everyone to pause training on AI models, especially the one that he co-founded, OpenAI. This seems like Elon's last attempt to stop AI because he's warned us many times before.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out.
There are currently over 1,000 notable signatures on this open letter asking AI labs to immediately pause for 6 months. This pertains to all artificial intelligence models that are more powerful than GPT-4, which is crazy powerful. Elon's point is that there basically needs to be more safeguards and regulations with AI before it's too advanced and too late. This could truly be a pivotal point between man and artificial intelligence.
If humanity collectively decides that creating digital superintelligence is the right move, then we should do so very, very carefully. Very, very carefully. This is the most important thing that we could possibly do. It'll be far more dangerous. I mean, really, it kind of reads like Shackleton's ad for Antarctic explorers. It's like difficult, dangerous, good chance you'll die. Excitement for those who survive.
If we've got millions of these things going all over the place.
You're not selling it, just, like that.
No, I know. I'm saying this is something we should be quite concerned about, because if the robot can follow you anywhere, then, what if they just one day get a software update and they're not so friendly anymore? Then we've got a James Cameron movie on our hands. Well, I think we are seeing the most disruptive force in history here. Where we will have for the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. And that I mean, it's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but there will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job for sort of personal satisfaction, but the AI will be able to do everything.
The reason OpenAI exists at all is that Larry Page and I used to be close friends, and I would stay at his house in Palo Alto, and I would talk to him late into the night about AI safety. And at least my perception was that Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough.
Say about it.
He really seemed to be one sort of digital superintelligence, basically digital God, if you will, as soon as possible.
He wanted that?
Yes. He's made many public statements over the years that the whole goal of Google is what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence. No, and I agree with him that there's great potential for good, but there's also potential for bad. It can't just be hell for leather. Let's just go, barreling forward and, hope for the best. And then at one point, I said, well, what about, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here. And then he called me a speciesist.
Did he use that term?
Yes. And there were witnesses. I wasn't the only one there. That was the last straw. At the time, Google had acquired DeepMind, and so Google and DeepMind together had about 3/4 of all the AI talent in the world. They obviously had a tremendous amount of money and more computers than anyone else. So I'm like, okay, we have a unipolar world here, where there's just one company that has close to a monopoly on AI talent and computers, like scaled computing. So then I thought, what's the furthest thing from Google would be like a nonprofit that is fully open, because Google was closed for profit. So that's why the open in OpenAI refers to open source, transparency, so people know what's going on.
Yes.
And that we don't want to have like while I'm normally in favor of for profit, we don't want this to be sort of a profit maximizing demon from hell.
That's right.
That's how OpenAI would.
So you want speciesist incentives here, incentives that.
Yes,
like,
I think we want pro-human.
Yeah.
Let's make the future good for the humans.
Yes.
Yes, because we're humans.
So can you just put it? I keep pressing it, but just for people who haven't thought this through and aren't familiar with it, and the cool parts of artificial intelligence are so obvious. Write your college paper for you, write a limerick about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot there that's fun.
So if you have a superintelligent AI that is capable of writing incredibly well and in a way that is very influential, convincing, and is constantly figuring out what is more convincing to people over time, and then enters social media, for example, Twitter. But also Facebook and others, and potentially manipulates public opinion in a way that is very bad.
Inviting China to the summit was a difficult decision, met with criticism from some quarters. However, it was crucial to include China in discussions on AI safety. The main concern with AI regulation is that if China does not participate, they might advance faster than other countries, leading to a situation where international efforts are undermined. During a recent visit to China, discussions with Chinese leadership focused on AI safety, showing their commitment to the issue. Engaging China is essential because without their participation, global AI safety efforts would be ineffective.
So I took a decision to invite China to the summit over the last few days. And it was not an easy decision. A lot of people criticize me for it. My view is if you're going to try and have serious conversation, you need to. But what would your thoughts? You do business all around the world. You just talked about it there.
Yeah.
Should we be engaging with them? Can we trust them? Is that the right thing to have done?
The biggest objection that I get to any kind of AI regulation or sort of safety controls are, well, China's not going to do it, and therefore they will just jump into the lead and exceed us all. But actually, China is willing to participate in AI safety. My main subject of discussion with the leadership in China was AI safety, and saying that this is really something that they should care about, and they took it seriously, and you are too, which is great. And having them here, I think, was essential, really. If they're not participants, it's pointless.
So, to sum up, in the words of Elon Musk, for all human history, human beings have been the smartest beings on the planet. Now, human beings have created something that is far smarter than they are, and the consequences of that are impossible to predict.